Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is Friday. Uh, Good gravy, May already, the 4th, 2018. It is my great grandmother's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
Yeah, she's been around me a little bit today.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, she raised me a lot. Okay, so I'm joined. Sorry, that was a little, because of the date, I remembered my great grandma. I'm joined by Lisa Flamino Resch and BZ Rieger, and it's been a bit since we've been together. I love this topic that we're going to talk about, and it is how to. Well, I was very intrigued by it. How to set an intention for things in the evening before bed, and I wanted to start recording, so I didn't get enough information about it, BZ, but.
Well, people are always asking, what should I do? How do I do this? And really just do what you're moved to do. And some people say, well, what is that? So, since I always like to think of ways to play, at the end of the day, sometimes people start with a list at the beginning of the day, and I need to do X, Y, and Z, and there's a lot of shoulds and schlock and work and all that kind of stuff on there, and play is not on there. Take deep breaths isn't on there usually. Hug a tree isn't on there. Just notice, spend several times a day just stopping and noticing, even if you're just at a street corner you're about to cross. Those things aren't on there. And people say, well, yeah, but I don't have time for that, or I gotta work, or whatever. And we've talked about that. We talked about this especially in the last couple of videos we did that night, whatever that was, all together. But the cosmic humor is everywhere. And when we say something like, well, I gotta have other stuff, important stuff, or I don't have time for that. I'd like to, but I don't. There's some cosmic humor in that, because when we don't take time for those things, and we don't play with those things, and we don't actually step into the magic of ourselves and the magic that we create, we bog everything down. We put everything solidly, firmly, in an entrenched way on the linear, grind, and we make things exponentially harder for ourselves, whatever it is that we're wanting to do. So one of the things that I have been playing with off and on for years is that instead of at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, I kind of take just a few moments. It could be outside, walking the dog, whatever it is, and just tune into the day. Instead of going through a whole laundry list of, well, I didn't get that done, and I didn't get that done. Take a little time to have gratitude for, can you feel into at least one thing during the day that you're grateful for? And not, it could be the thing, a specific incident or accomplishment or whatever, but more of a feeling of something. Something, you could go kind of on if you were going to label it on the, kind of on a more negative descriptor. Well, wow, things were just really toast at work, and instead of, getting sucked into it or getting annoyed or whatever, I just took a deep breath and thought, well, I'm just going to keep quiet, and I'm going to smile, and I'm just going to move off. So if that's not the normal way that you do things, that's huge, because the differential in energy, frequency, vibration of that neighborhood from something else is leveling up. Mm-hmm. So if at the end of the day, just as that's just one example, we'll do another one in a minute, but if at the end of the day, if you give gratitude to that and appreciate that and use that as your jumping off point to play for a little bit about what your intention is, how you would like to move through the day, have things flow, what you're calling in for you. You've already made a big jump from wherever you were. So you do that, and then you also are calling that stuff in, whatever that is, and you'll get better at playing with it, or more fun, or more fantastical, or however you hold it. Fantastical is always cool, right? I'm partial to that myself.
I'll take it. Me too.
So someone was asking me the other day, should I do this or this? I said, well, fantastical. But you said that before. I said, well, that's what I'm going to keep saying.
Yeah.
But you call that stuff in at night when you're sleeping, right? So you could be dreaming. If you notice, the quality of your dreams have changed. You're actually going and doing things in one of your other selves. Your physical body is lying there, getting some rest, maybe, and the rest of you is doing different things. So, anyways, you can use that. That'll be a jumping off point in that time when you lay your head down to sleep. And then you wake up, and you can actually start to call the frequency of things that match to what you give gratitude and what you leveled up from the night before in the next day. And if you had a day where maybe you noticed that you just felt really good today. And of course, people sometimes follow that. I don't know why I felt really good today, but I did. It's like, okay. I just felt really good today. And again, play with that and tune into it. And wow, it's good to feel good. And it's happy to feel good. And I'm feeling good, more and more, and this and that. And so you can just play with it. You don't have to put a container around it, just play with it. And that will really take you in fantastical places at night. I'll give you one example. I actually had a couple days off, and I went to the Pacific Ocean. And I went with 2 friends and Keegan. And we were playing with the different things we wanted to call in, the different fantastical, magical, fun, whatever things you would call in. And sometimes they were specific, like I said, well, I'd like to see some eagles, and I would like to be able to photograph some eagles, and I would like the eagles to be very close so that with my long lens, I could get a really close-up picture so that I could actually see the fluff on the feathers, maybe their talons, and all that kind of stuff. So fairly specific. And then, and so sometimes we did it the night before when we were talking, or we were maybe reading some things out loud for everybody, or whatever it was. Or sometimes we do it like in the moment, like, the first morning that we were there, sleepover, it was a little overcast, and so I took Keegan out for an early morning walk, and I said, well, I like the mist, and it's nice photographs, and Keegan's had a fun time, and I'd love it to, after I finish making the blueberry muffins and we eat that, it's going to clear up, and there's going to be beautiful light. So it doesn't have to be sun, just, light. And it went from rainy, which was forecasted, to just beautiful light, and mostly sun and blue skies. And that's, some people say, well, sometimes it does that. Except that this particular place that we were is the capital of rain in the United States. It gets more rain than any other place. Certainly for the United States. It may be in a lot of other places. It happens to be a rainforest area.
Yeah, it's considered, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it considered the only rainforest in the United States?
Yes. So they get, like 12 feet, 14 feet of rain a year. Feet. So calling in a sunny day is like, and we had 3 of them for the 3 days they were there. So we got every sunny day that there was in the whole year.
That's awesome.
But we would be moving through the day and said, well, this has been great. This day is great. And we're having fun, and we're playing, and we're, doing lots of walks, and Keegan's running all over the place. And also, it would be really cool. We got some whales to it. And I said, yeah, I would love to see some orcas. So maybe 20 minutes, half an hour later, people were doing something in the house, and I was sitting outside, and it was later in the afternoon, and I'm looking at the water because we're right on the bluff. I'm looking at the water. I said, hey, guys, come on here. And I said, they're here. Anyway, so we had called in the orcas. We had a bunch of orcas, and they were playing, and they were right off the bluff where we were. And so again, with the long lens, I could take pictures of them. And then one of the other people said, well, I really like those gray whales we saw last year. I said, well, just wait. So we had a couple more orcas come, and then the next thing we know, look at that, there's some gray whales coming along right in front. So, and the eagles that asked for came and sat, two of the pairs, the pair came and sat right in the tree just off to my left, so that with my long lens, and they didn't mind, they were pretty close tree-wise, they didn't mind, and with my long lens, I could see their feathers sitting perfectly. I could see their feathers very close up. I could see the talons and the foot of one on a tree. Anyway, so those are just examples, and we just kept playing with it. And at one point, I said, programming note, have you noticed that everything that we've just been thinking of or wanting to play with, or, and some things were specific like the eagle or the whale, and some things were, well, when we go on this walk, wherever we end up going on this walk, I want it to be really special and really magical, and I have no idea what that is, and I'm not attached to that. This was one of the people who was saying what that is. And in that respect, we went, I had to get gas, so I went a little further. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it takes a while. So I went to get gas, or we'd go on another walk. And there was a little information, kind of Chamber of Commerce information place. So we went inside, very nice, very friendly. This is where the Twilight Saga is filmed.
Oh, beautiful area.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So anyways, I didn't know that, but the very nice woman, they were saying, oh yeah, and she was telling us, and she had the vampires there. She said, well, they're coming in, we're having a thing. But anyway, she said, well, something about dogs. I said, well, our dogs are in the car. The other person had a dog too. And she said, oh, we have a little loop here. So you figure it's the side of the road, and, it's a kind of a tourist info thing. Okay, we'll try it. They were nice, and so we tried. Well, it was, I don't know, maybe a half a mile loop. It was a patch of rainforest. It just happened to be right behind this visitor center. You couldn't hear the road 101, which is, well, it's not a huge road, but it's a main road, going by. You were completely ensconced in the rainforest. I mean, trees that were this big around, and moss hanging down, and there were drifts of trillium. Trillium is a wildflower that's beautiful, but it doesn't live very many places, and usually it's ones or twos here and there. Well, there were drifts of wild trillium, and white is the normal color. Occasionally have a sport. Well, there was a beautiful pink patch of pink ones, which you don't see very often, but one I've never seen is a wild mauve-colored one, and a drift of those. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Hummingbirds, and the light was good. So,
and you got pictures?
Yeah, and you never would have thought that this was right there. So this was what the other woman had called, and this was, I don't know where we're going or what we're doing, but I wanted to be magical. And well, there you go. It was very cool. So that kept happening. And just so one of the last point on this thing is when you cap off that energy, we actually created a whole neighborhood that we were doing, and we checked out, and we were all sitting on the picnic table, and we were one of my friends had suggested, well, let's do some meditation and for you, BZ, and we'll set with you the tone for the next week at work, because things have been real hectic at work and so on. So okay, that's great. So we did that, and then we shared, what we different seen, and that was magical. I said, well, I got to go catch my boat long way back, and I said, this has been so magical. So anything else want to come in for us? So we talked for a minute more, and then I heard the eagle, they make a certain chirp that's very noticeable. And so I turned over the right shoulder, and we all looked in that direction, and we waited for a minute. And the pair of eagles came and flew. Now, we're kind of a little piece of grass off the parking lot. So there's nothing really eagle-centric around where we are. They made a point to change direction wherever they were at that moment when we were just finishing, fly in tandem right overhead, about maybe 8 feet over our head.
Wow.
Loop, circle over our head, and then keep going.
Awesome.
And that's what we said. So that we said, well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
That was glorious.
Well, a play like that seems to have been on the menu, because now I did a little bit of that myself over the last couple days. Calling certain things in, and working it out with, in one case, a person's higher being ahead of time. As I didn't wish to have, any undue trauma or drama with this particular being, but, wanted to experience, something with this being. So if they were in agreement, I would love to see this happen. And it was ease and flow from beginning to end. And I think possibly even because of that ease and flow for me, being where it was, it opened me in other ways, in that I actually recognized communication at the time it happened between Lisa and I. At the very moment that it took place, I got it did. It's not like I heard her in my head or anything. I just knew it was time to leave where I was, because I had asked to be notified when she arrived back home.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. She told me later that she did. The minute they pulled in the driveway, she sent notice. And when she didn't hear from me, she texted later. But I knew when I got the text, that's when I knew I was right, that my impetus to leave was because I did hear. So I thought that was really cool. So I think that's, I hope everyone is playing with these sorts of things. And I will say here too, that it still strikes me that, the Sabian symbol for this year, the entire energetic for this entire year, is through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained. And so our imaginations are pivotal for the entire year, and doubly so right now for this entire solar lunar month.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of play, this exercising of our muscles, well, it's not only important, but it's fun as hell.
It's really fun.
It really is fun. And when you start trusting what you're getting, you get more.
Yes.
I will just say that too.
Because you're getting communication, you're getting wonderful things all the time, but for the most part, we don't notice them. We don't trust them. We don't listen. We doubt. Okay, well, all right, well, that's good, but I need another signal. I need more proof. Are you certain? Are you really, And luckily for us, that all of the higher energies, they don't roll their eyes. They don't get upset with us. They don't raise an eyebrow. They don't go, Jesus effing blog, do you mind? We're luckily, they're nothing, the rest of our soul and source and all that is nothing like that part of us that says, okay, but I don't really trust you, so you got to do this, that, and the other thing. And what have you done for you lately? Is
Yes, too true right there, isn't it? What have you done for you lately? I love that. Okay, so there's another shirt. I love that. I like that. Okay. Well, and exactly. And it's just so much fun and it doesn't hurt anything. So I love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Well, it changes everything. Remember how we were talking about, I don't know, in one of the last videos, maybe the most recent last videos. When you integrate something, when you level up, when you shift, when there's lots of ways that you can phrase it and hold it and so on and so forth. It changes things within you. It connects more of you to you. It honors more of you. It celebrates more of you. And that changes everything in you. And since, yes, you are singular, you're sovereign, you're a singularity that is source embodied, and you're moving through, ascended in your physical body, but you're also one. You're also in coherence with all that is, even if you may not feel that way. And so when you change and expand and level up, it changes everything. So it actually, think of it as puts it in the air, in the ethers, in the energetic stream, in the consciousness stream. I mean, there's many different ways you could say it, and they'd all be accurate because you're then talking about different levels and layers and dimensions and densities and scope and breadth and depth and so on and so forth. So that changes everything. So, for example, when I was describing the couple days that I had off and what we were doing, yes, it was fun and magical, and we had a great time, and something I definitely needed to do, and all of that. But it changed things for all of everything else as well.
Yes.
So if people are thinking, a very common refrain is, well, I don't know my mission, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, I'm not really doing anything. Well, just what I gave an example of the Eagles and doing time like that, you don't have to go on vacation someplace, you can go and you can do anything that you're moved to do, or you can do something that makes your, things flow, work easier. But all of that changes everything. So everything is significant. Everything is a quantum jump. You're not small. You're not tiny. You're not insignificant. You're not contributing to all of it is. You do matter, and what you do matter, and how you walk in the world and create and vibrate matters a whole lot, like intrinsically matters. So you need to get over that. Everybody who's on that thought, or maybe has that little voice sneak up, or whatever the refrain is, you're kick-ass creator beings. So it's time to start doing it. Because, as before we were started recording, I said, it's time to level up or leap off. You got two choices.
That's right. That's another shirt, actually. And I already see the design for it kicking around.
Oh, I can't wait. It's gotta be real good.
Yeah, no, I'm in full agreement. Oh, wow. This is I really appreciate this conversation, because I had not thought about the taking that to bed. That feels like a good, thank you for that. I haven't, now some things have changed for me over the last week, so maybe this will have resolved itself. I don't usually remember dreams very much at all. When I do, it's generally only little snippets, or, that whatever. but I've never done this either. So,
well, just what I would say on that is, first of all, it's okay. It's nothing. I was going to say it's kind of like a new twist on a to-do list. Okay, but I'll take that back even before I say this. It's nothing like that at all. It's a frequency alignment list.
Tool. I was thinking of it as a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool.
A little, yeah,
and it may or may not help you remember your dreams, but when you do that and you set that at the end of the day, especially when you're jumping off of gratitude for something that happened, whatever that is, whatever lands on you, whatever, your heart connects to, that it will shift what you're doing at night. Because I can guarantee you, whether you know it or not, whether you understand it or not, whether you pay attention to different bruises or what you might have in the morning, you're not just laying down with your head on a pillow sleeping.
I'm definitely aware of that. I'm definitely aware of that.
Yep.
So yeah, and but I like that idea, and I've never been terribly worried or bothered that I don't remember, because I feel like there have been times I bring back well, obviously what I needed to bring back for myself. Otherwise, so it's not something I am so much more relaxed now about where I am and what, because, I'm source too. So I've got this apparently in hand, and I don't freak out about where I am anymore for some reason, which is different. Oh, I've never actually freaked out. I say freaked out like I'm running around, freaked out. Well, it's not like that, but.
And in the nighttime, a lot of us are doing a lot of work. A lot of us are in meetings. A lot of us are working together. A lot of us are on ships. A lot of us are in all different places doing different things. Some of us are doing battles. Some of us are doing different, on different missions. And we need all of us, except for the actual physical thing that's, the body that's in the bed. Denise LaFay will, I think one of the most recent ones that I published a week or so ago, she talks about different encounters that she has. And you can't really see them on my arm, but on this arm here, there's 2 dots right here that were bruises and 2 dots right here. And we're in the identical places and it's actually fingers. So there may be a 3-fingered being was holding me from the back. And one of the friends I went away with when we went, I said, this is a testing the nurse question. I said, can you imagine? And I showed and they were very fresh then. That happened the night before. I said, can you think from a nursing standpoint any way that a human body could make those imprints or those? And she said, no. She said, that's a 3-fingered. I said, yeah. So I just bring that up because lots of things happen on them. You may or may not remember them. You may or not know. On a lot of levels, you just may not cognize right here. You may be on meetings. There's lots of times that, I've talked to Randy, that comes to mind right this moment. He says, well, I know I'm in meetings, but I can't remember what's going on in the meeting. Well, yeah, but if when you're here in this physical body and you're doing 100% commitment to integrating, to clearing out, to cleaning out, to letting go of things, to notice, to come from your heart, all those kinds of things that we've talked about in all of these various conversations, then that helps you with whatever it is that you're, not only, as we just said, it changes everything, but it helps you with whatever it is that you're working on, who you're working with, and how you're working for all of the all when you're supposedly sleeping. It's also going to help you, if you're having a mission or an altercation or something and there's stuff going on. So nothing is nothing. That makes sense. At no time in whatever you're doing are you doing nothing or not enough, right? Because even if you're fussing and being fatutzed about, spinning your wheels on something, if you keep doing that for a long time, okay, well then you maybe it would be a bit of a good idea to quit doing that quite so much. But but at least even in that, you're integrating, you're stirring it up. You can, take off that froth and foam that you let it go and do some other things. Just because you don't remember everything, or you can recall something, does not mean you have not been fully involved and engaged. And there are things that you don't remember until you're supposed to, until all of your agreements that you made, as I say, around the campfire, are in the right moment at the right time.
I concur. As one who, to this very moment, has felt, well, kind of, when I found out this whole idea about my astrology chart, having veiled myself purposefully for some reason, it's still frustrating, but I have come to, not just because of that, because you guys know I've had this issue of, crap, why would I do something like that? And anymore, it doesn't matter. I feel very confident that there are reasons that we do that we've set these things up the way they are. And the more I expand, the more I now fully grasp when I have, because I'm going to be honest, when I first heard Heather use that terminology, everything is perfect and perfectly done, I'm like, hold up.
Well, that's funny, because it's one of those phrases where a lot of people go, what are you nuts? And a lot of people go, oh my God, that's it.
See, that right there shows me the expansion that has taken place for me, because I so totally get it now. And that doesn't mean I'm like 100% on board with the idea that I still don't know stuff that I'd like to know. I don't, and I keep using the word freak out. I do not freak out about anything. I am not the freaking out kind. But I'm trying to give the energetic of the idea. It's unsettling. You don't like it. You're frustrated when you want to know a thing and you can't, or you'd like to remember your dreams and you're not, or, whatever the case may be. But like I said, as I'm expanding, I'm getting the idea that it is all perfect and perfectly done.
And you set it up. It's not like, it's not like the way one might read from a linear perspective, the linear false construct, and, where things are done to us and they're blocking us and, all kind of stuff. Again, from that linear perspective, that's absolutely true. And that's what it feels like. And that's how you experience it. And that's, your reality in that linear perspective. And then as you widen out, you'll see, okay, you can hold lots of different perspectives, and they're all actually very accurate and correct. But so each one of us, so whoever's saying, well, I'm frustrated, we don't remember all these kinds of things, just go, okay, well, I set it up that way. So that's my heart, I, in this physical body. I, that's my higher self. I, or higher selves, so lots of I's around that. I as my soul, I as my source, the source. So all because you keep expanding. And you had, one way you could describe it is that you had conversations, consultations, kind of a game plan, that kind of thing, direct from source and all that, before you were coming down here for these different things. So, it wasn't like you pulled the short straw, and they said, well, sorry, bees, you don't get to remember, you get, I'm 54 and I can remember 8 dreams in my entire life. Now, those 8 were big and significant, and the last one that was 2012. So, and yes, I tried dream stuff and this and that. I mean, I went to classes, I read books, I did all this kind of stuff, and I thought, okay, well, it's just another thing I'm making myself wrong about, so I'm just going to let it go, because I know I'm doing a lot of stuff, because there's an awful lot of time where I wake up more tired when I wake up, or I come up with 3-fingered bruises on my arms or whatever it is. And so I know I'm doing stuff. So I long time ago, years and years, just let all that go. Clearly there's a reason. I'm not going to get foot-tuts. Occasionally I break that agreement that I made that I'm not going to worry about doing. Because there's so many other things that we can do. And as we up level and we expand and we shift and we move and we get into other frequency vibrational neighborhoods and we attract other things, we call in other things, we take the next steps because we're moved to do them, and things unfold and the path unfolds and circumstances and events and all those things unfold, we're moving into different right times, so to say, divine time, whatever you want to label it as, where pieces here and there come. And I think it's safe to say that all the people I've had conversations with on this particular thing will always say with at least one thing, wow, it's a really good thing I didn't know that, whatever that was. I wouldn't have held it right. I wouldn't be ready. So, and this was the perfect time. And gosh, I was really kind of a, nudge about,
I feel you on that. Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, actually.
I invented that.
I resemble that a little bit. Just a little.
Well.
Well, wow, this has really been very helpful for me, as usual. I am so lucky. Oh, I'll be grateful for you too. I'm grateful for you guys all the time, but more so. All right, well, cool. Do either one of you want to add anything else to this one?
Go play.
It was perfect.
Awesome. And perfectly done.
There you go.
Well, all right then. I will put links to the IUV, and BZ is there. You can see BZ there. And Lisa's 2 blogs, Heart Song Musings and Rush Solutions Tools for Transformation. And of course, there's information as to how to join the Facebook page and can contact me. And, share your thoughts on this video in the comment section. If not there, then my email on the thread and Facebook, however you feel so led. So till next time.
Much love.